Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 212 of Be the CEO of Your Life. I am Olga, your host, and I am so excited to talk to you this morning. All right. What are we talking about in this episode 212? First of all, can we just set a moment here to acknowledge 212 episodes of this podcast? Thank you so much, you guys. Because listen, I'm just sitting here in my office all by myself, how I normally do to record this podcast. And I started these episodes when I was living, I remember, at a different home. I had no idea how to edit audio. All I knew is that I wanted to put my content out in a place where most people could hear it, and hopefully they will find it beneficial. So as I wanted to share with you what episode we were on, I was like, holy macro, I remember sitting in my dining table just talking. And I believe I was talking about grief or fertility or gratitude. I don't know, something that was going on in my life when I first started recording episodes. So it's been almost, I think, 4 years. I wasn't always consistent. About 2.5 years ago, I decided to be super consistent, and as a result, this audience has grown so much. I'm so appreciative of all of you listening, and I really love when you guys reach out to me. So if this episode speaks to you, please come say hi through LinkedIn or through Instagram, or send me an email. Just say hi. Tell me what you think about the episode. I had somebody email me last week after last week after they listened to one of my episodes, and she said it was so helpful to hear about toxic guilt and how helpful it's been for her. And I thank her so much, because I told her what I'm about to tell you. When you sit down here to record an episode, especially without a guest speaker, it's like you're speaking to a big black hole. You know you're creating content. I know I'm passionate about what I speak, but you have no idea if it's going somewhere or if anybody listened to it. Of course, I look at my stats. I see the stats are growing. I know that you guys are downloading these episodes. Those numbers are growing and they keep moving up. So I know it's being listened to. I just would love to hear from you guys. So come say hi. For those of you who are seeing this video, forgive my appearance. It's like midnight on a Sunday, and I am recording for next week's episode because I feel inspired now, and I never miss an opportunity of inspiration. Also, I've been taking a lot of time off with my son. I've got like 2 more weeks of him before he goes back to school. I hear all my American friends already have their children getting back to school, and we still have like a couple of weeks. So I've been taking so much advantage of that and recording when I really feel inspired to do so. And so, listen, midnight, and I'm doing this right now. But you guys are listening to this on a Monday morning. So there you go. All right. So I was having a phenomenal conversation with a good friend of mine, and in it became evident to me that she was super attached to her achievements, as though they spoke about who she was, and as though those achievements were actually what made her worthy of appreciation, of value, of good things. And I reflected on this for a while, because when I did ask her, okay, but what is your value aside from achievements? She did not have an answer. Now, I have seen this happen so many times because I do coach high achieving women, and one characteristic of the high achieving person, period, is our tendency to want to keep climbing that ladder. We just get somewhere and we're like, all right, this is good, but what is next? And we're always trying to move up. And in that in that high of wanting to move, high, excuse the redundance, we get, unbeknown to us, so attached to our achievements, because they tell the story. And without the achievement, we wouldn't get the high. So we go after one achievement, we get it, we're so excited, but we actually hold on to that title, to that result, to an achievement, as though it said something about ourselves. And that's fine. We want to celebrate all of our successes. What we do not want is to let the achievement be what defines who we are, and most importantly, our personal value. So today's episode is all about you not being your achievements. And I am definitely dedicating this to all my high ambitious women who have lost their sense of personal value somewhere along the way of achieving, and today you feel proud of all of what you do, but your confidence might be low because you're attaching it strictly to your achievements. So I thought it would be helpful to maybe talk about the trap of achievement as the basis of your worthiness. So as we know, in this society, there's a lot of emphasis on achievement. And some of you are like hardcore, I want to achieve. Others, you might be less into it. This is for those of you who are really attached to the achievement. I have coached several people on this, and I'm going to tell you about my client Mel, who I'm sure she wouldn't mind that I do this. She has achieved all kinds of stuff. She's got several titles. She's studied quite a bit, so she has several degrees. She's moved up in her company. She holds a very prestigious position in her company. And at some point, not getting what she wanted within her profession brought her to a place of doubt. Who am I? What am I good for? And that's when she started coaching with me. And it became evident to her and to me that aside from her achievements, she didn't really know her worthiness. So when I was talking to my friend, I'm like, hold on, I know this very well. This sounds like all my clients. When you are into achievements, especially in this society that we live in, it is so easy to let your achievements speak for themselves and speak for yourself. So if they ask you, who are you, Olga? Well, I'm the woman who's achieved A, B, and C. And that's kind of like our letter of introduction to whoever. Like, look, this is who I am. But here's what I'm about to break for you. This is not who you are. Who you are makes you a person capable of those achievements. The achievements does not make you the person worthy of things. So that's the trap. We think we get into this like hamster wheel, if you wish, of achieving. And then we let those achievements mean or define us. And somewhere along that path, we forget that what really defines our worthiness, our sense of worthiness, is not the achievement. So when you stop achieving, or when you don't achieve one thing, your self-worthiness crumbles. And you're like, oh my God, I'm not worth of anything. I'm not going to get any other jobs. Nobody's ever going to think I'm good enough. I'm not going to be in another relationship, because the attachment of your worthiness has been to the achievement, not to who you are. Now, circumstances are always changing, so your achievements might change, but the thing that is constant is you, the generator of those achievements. So I want to break that achievement trap of the trap of achievement-based worth, so that you can begin to recognize that you are far more than your achievements, and in fact, it is the you that makes those achievements come through. So I'll give you this exercise for you to begin to understand your personal worth, why your personal worth goes beyond accomplishments. And I encourage you to do that by looking at your unique traits. Like, what qualities define you unrelated to your work? Like, I know I'm a great coach. I know I'm a great speaker. But if I was to think about what qualities or traits define me, would be how charismatic I am, how easily I can put myself into somebody else's shoes. That is my value. And so it doesn't matter what I've achieved because of that value. That is what I bring anywhere. That's what I bring to the table. When you go to any table of problem solvers, you don't bring your past achievement on its own, but the experience, what you learn, who you were in those experiences. That's what's so valuable about you. So like, take a moment here. If you're somebody who's totally relating your worthiness to your achievements, take this moment to define your own personal qualities. Like, if you're honest, you know what's the value of that for a company to have honest employees, if you're somebody who is a perfectionist, so you're going to do it to the best of your ability, you're not going to cut corners. That's who you are, and that's not never going to change. No matter what achievement, no matter what mistakes, that is always you. Okay, so like take the time to look into your unique traits that you want to be defined by, as opposed of like I've got a lot of achievements, guys. I am a high achiever. I love achieving. I'm probably never going to stop achieving. That's my medicine, my fuel. But I certainly do not let those be what what defines my capability or my future possibility. I just know I am the motor that makes those achievements possible, have made them possible. And you know why? Because I'm tenacious, because I don't give up, because when I put my mind to something, I get it done. I am so persistent and disciplined. You hear me? I will take that to anything, wherever I go. That's what comes with me. And so that is my value. And those are the things that I appreciate so much about who I am. Oh, and I've also, I don't know, studied my career in a second language while I didn't really truly speak it and graduated with honors. But how did I get there? Because of who I am: tenacious, insisting, persistent. I don't give up. I will solve problems. I will make it, I will see it through. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I also suggest that you cherish the authentic connections that you have. Honestly, that is one of your greatest values as a human, are your relationships. Value the relationships that see you for who you are, not just your success. You're so used to being successful and people clapping at your success that you may have lost contact with like who are these people around me for? Like what are they like? Who are they? But what do they see in me? And you definitely want your friends and your coworkers to see you for far more than what you achieve. And although I think that many of you think that's the only thing they see is your success, I promise you, they also admire you because of who you are. So those traits that are so unique to you. So yeah, cherish your authentic connections. That will help you come back to your true value. When you're doubting your value, like if you come back to those friendships, you're like, oh my God, I'm so rich. Or I've got so much, I'm so lucky. It brings you back to a good place of authenticity, even. I would also ask you to explore passions outside of work. So, especially if your achievements have been professional, look for your own passions that don't involve work, but that make you equally happy. Like this could be hobbies or interests that like basically feed your soul. It could be reading books, gardening, listening to music, singing, things that might not be how you make a living, but that are so part of you. Again, that adds up to your overall value. Who am I? I'm the woman who loves taking care of my home. I'm the woman who loves music and listening to music. And when you start like paying attention to the things that you love, that you're passionate outside of your work, your life becomes more complete and fulfilled, and you kind of see your purpose that is beyond achievements. Lastly, I'll ask you to reflect on your everyday impact. Your influence on others is a measure of true worth. Okay, so if you're always attached to your achievements to see your worthiness, pay attention to what impact you have. Oh my God, the downside of recording at midnight is this: can't speak. What is the impact that you are having on those around you? Because that truly is that, like, I don't know, that's the most valuable thing. When I think about, for example, my work, and I think about the emails I get, and I think about the notes of gratitude, or I think about the testimonials, people just saying this is what's changing my life. I don't know. I think my self-value goes up to 100, even though those are not even my own achievements. That has nothing to do with me. It is just the impact of me showing up to my work with all of my passion. It's so incredible. So work related or not, really pay attention to the impact that you are having currently amongst your communities, your church, your friends, even your work. All of that, my friends, take you away from this trap of achievement-based worth and starts to increase your awareness that your personal growth or worth, goes beyond accomplishments. So are there ways that you guys can start exploring what your unique qualities are if you're not aware? So I always, and I apologize for that, but I always kind of think that everybody is self-aware. And then when I start working with many of you, I realize, no, not everybody's self-aware. So obviously, self-awareness will help you pay attention to your, qualities. One of the things I did when I was moving away from corporate into my private practice, and I really needed to really fill up my cup of confidence that I could do this, that I could have my own business, that I could walk away from a pension and benefits and a secure job, high paying job into all these unknowns. I had to really give myself all the pep talks. And one thing that was so important for me to do was to print out all the trainings I ever attended at this job I did for 10 years, at this organization I was in for 10 years, all the trainings. I printed all the positions I ever had. I did switch positions every 2 years because what? I am a high achieving, ambitious woman. And after 2 years, I was like, okay, I already know this position. I want something new. So I printed all of basically my resume of trainings, my CV of trainings and positions. And I started to write down the skills that were required for each of these jobs. And so then I had a list of skills, not just a job title, but skills. See, like I'm going away from title, achievement to skills. Those skill sets belong to me. And then I took a second step, which was a third step, I suppose, which was to think of what of these skills are transferable to other industries, to other jobs, to my vision of creating my private practice. And it was so confident building. Why? Because my worthiness became like big, right? I was like, whoa, I've got so many skills. I've trained social workers provincially. That makes me what? Teacher? I suppose I have teaching qualities, right? So I encourage you to do something that helps you identify your qualities. And other interesting exercise you guys can try, other than sort of like going through all your personal skills. If you're good at sports, for example, you could do the same. Like, what are the skills that I use? What does that say about me? Like, get curious and let you be the person with the answers. But I also find this interesting. We do this in coaching. It's called the 360 exercise. And although I'm not explaining the whole thing, I'm going to give you a short version of it because you could use that now. You want to know how others see you, how others describe you. So you could ask people. 360 is like a full circle, right? Like from I don't know, your cleaning lady all the way to your boss. And you can involve as many people as you want to. Some people at the gym that you talk to, other moms at your child's school, like anybody. You choose who you want to, but you want to have like a variety pool of people, and you ask them to describe you, for example, in 3 words. What will you say about me? How will you describe me? And that's just telling you how others see you, and that might give you an idea of your own instinct qualities. So if you hear everybody says like, you're always so kind, you're so generous, you start hearing that a few times, you're like, oh, there might be something into that. Am I always generous? Am I always well dressed? Am I always put together? Like, what are they saying, right? Like, what are they seeing me as? So I encourage you to do any self-reflection that essentially leads you to self-acceptance. Because friends, the only thing that is standing between you and your confidence of how worthy you are is your own thinking, right? If you think to yourself as, under imposter syndrome, who am I? I need to study more, like all of my high achievers. God, stop studying, guys. You don't need one more degree. Study for the sake of interest. Like, I'm back to school because I am so interested in learning more about coaching. And in fact, I'm so in love with it. I already asked the director of the school to create another course because I'm like, I'm not going to stop here. I want to learn more out of pure interest, not a title, not an achievement. Hey, look what I've done. So I do encourage you to pay attention to how are you assigning your worthiness, and if it is to your achievements, to look for what's beyond achievements. And I know it can be a daunting exercise. I just experienced it the other week with my friend. She had no answers. She was like, yeah, I have no idea. And yet, if I asked, what are your strengths? She had a long list of strengths. She just didn't connect them yet to her worthiness. So anything that allows you to self-reflect specifically for the purpose of self-acceptance, it's going to really help you detach your worthiness from success or from achievements. Now, I also encourage you guys to start building a life beyond achievements. What does that mean? So pursuing passions unrelated to your success, and not to succeed, but for the fun of it. Like, so many of us are engaging in things that we're like, I want to have this feeling of success. So I'm going to sign up for a half marathon because I want to feel like I've done it and I'm successful at it. And don't get me wrong, I get the same high, okay, from succeeding. I love personally setting setting impossibles for me because I just love the feeling of I've accomplished something that I thought was impossible. And I just grew my possibilities by doing it. It's fun to do it this way, especially if it's not in this part of your life that you're trying to prove to somebody your success, but yourself. So pursue passions. Maybe you want to learn another language, not to succeed, not to become the best of the best, but just for the fun of it. Like practice that, because you probably don't know that. Practice describing yourself without your achievements. Like for the longest time, I used to introduce myself. Who are you? Oh, I'm a social worker. I'm a therapist. I'm a coach. Now, if you hear me introduce myself, most times I say I am a mom. I am a daughter. I'm a wife. I go back to like who I am. Really, truly, not what I've done in my life and with my profession. So finding passions unrelated to your career grows your perception of who you are. And for my high achievers, I know you have multi interests. You like many things. So it's a disservice for you to define yourself only as a successful scientist, as a successful executive. You are probably an artist. You are probably also creative. You are probably also a golfer. All those things make you, right? So I highly encourage you to pursue passions unrelated to your career and to pursue them without the need to succeed at them, just for the fun of it. Like that's how I've approached golf in my life. I've learned to golf last year. That was my birthday gift for myself. I took some private lessons. This summer, I've gone out only a few times to practice. I'm not bad. And you know why I enjoy it so much, despite everybody telling me how frustrating it is to play golf? And trust me, I've seen why that's frustrating. I enjoy it because I am not in it to become a pro or to prove to anybody, insert husband, that I can't play as good as he can. No, I'm doing it for fun. I'm actually doing it to practice growth mindset, to go in there to fail as many times as I can. And it's been so much fun. So pursuing passions unrelated to your success is going to be super helpful for the fun of it. I also encourage you to create or nourish or continue to, if you already have them, meaningful relationships and that allow you for personal growth experiences. Like my friend that I was talking to you about, that those conversations happen for us when we're on the phone. And they're just, she was later messaging me saying like, wow, my brain just exploded emoji. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's so much fun. So it's good to just nourish relationships that are meaningful to you, that you really connect, that those friendships when you come back from meeting them or seeing them, you have nothing to say, nothing. You're so fulfilled and satisfied that when somebody asks you, so how did it go? You're like, great, that's it. It's so sufficient. You don't have to, sometimes obviously you do go into, it was great, blah, 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 versus when you go out with friends that you call friends that are not meaningful relationships and you come back and all you have to say is, you can believe this person believes the earth is flat. They can be, those are not your people. They're not meaningful relationships. They're not leading you to personal growth. So choose wisely. And when you do have these relationships in your life, which I am getting to that point where I'm just so appreciative of them. I just came from a full day at the cottage with two friends of mine that I don't see often. They don't live in Canada. And it's so, I feel so fulfilled. My cup is so full because the conversations were just so incredible, not just like, so how is so and so and what else has happened, but just impactful conversations that have made me think and inspire me to maybe create this episode. So for you, if you want a life beyond achievements, have friendships outside of work. For the longest time, my only friends were just coworkers. Raise your hand if that is you. No, that's nothing wrong with those. I love you to have those friendships, but also expand your friendships outside of career and more into personal growth. I think one of the key elements of my coaching programs that include groups like Be the CEO of Your Own Life, which by the way, this is the last week for you guys to sign up for the next 6-month cohort that's starting now. One of the reasons people love it is because they actually create personal growth experiences and meaningful relationships in these groups. It's rare that you have a group of women who are all coming to talk talk about how to refill their cup on a daily basis, how to set clear boundaries with communication, how to fail with grace, like, right? Like this is personal growth, and it is so fulfilling to do with other people, and it's not just related to your work, or they don't know your boss, or they're not your boss, they're not your teammates, they're strangers at first, and then they become like sisters because you're doing this deep work. So just here to remind you that you are not your achievements, and that achievements are only one aspect of who you are. And in fact, it's the who you are that brings you to those achievements. So embrace all of your uniqueness, your instincts, your nurture, like your natural way of being, and know that that's where the value is. That's where your value is in who you are. That uniqueness, that if you're organized, if you're passionate, if you are happy, a bit crazy, that's what makes you you, and that is your value. That goes with you everywhere you go. Like John Kabat says, wherever you go, there you are. And that has nothing to do with your achievements. You can't always walk your achievement with you, take it places, but who did create that achievement? You. So if today's episodes resonated with you, feel free to reach out to me or leave a comment. Most importantly, maybe share this episode with somebody else. I think it would be super fun to have other people listen to it. Go out and explore your passions outside of work. Reflect on your everyday impact. Cherish your relationships, and remember that you have unique traits that make you of infinite value to those around you, to the places you go work, to wherever it is that you show up. Okay, that is what makes you you, and that is your value. I want to thank you so much for coming in and listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you guys next Monday. Remember, if you want to sign up for Be the CEO of Your Own Life, you can just book a free 15-minute call with me, and we get to talk. We get to see what your needs are. If group coaching / one-on-one coaching is what's meant for you, is what you need right now, that'll be a great opportunity. If you'd rather do private coaching, I am taking new clients for private coaching. Specifically, I am looking for women who are in high executive positions or leadership, but not only. I'm also interested in business owners and overall decision makers who want to have more balance in their life. If that is you, head over to the show notes, click on the link, book a discovery call for free, 15 minutes, and let's get working together. Talk to you guys very soon. Bye now.